Hello folks, Wager Detective here, coming to you live from Atlantic City, December 20th, 2025. We're going to cap this Texas A&M Miami Hurricanes game. We're going to look at the history here and see what's going on here. We look at Texas A&M. Last meeting with Miami, they lost 21-20 in the Gardens in Miami. They won in Norman, lost in Norman, won in Norman. Looks about 3-3. But the 2007, they beat up on Miami pretty bad, 51-13. So we're looking at a very tight-knit matchup between these two teams. If we look at Miami, let's take a look at what they're about this year. Having a great year under Mario Cristobal. Mario, 10-2, solid SRS, 6th in the nation, 37th in the nation SOS, and they're going to be playing at College Station today against this Texas A&M Aggie team. Okay, we look at their offense. They're 23 for 31. Completions on in passing, so they pass the ball about 31 times a game at a 74% rate, 276 yards a game, so they're plus 85 yards in the passing department a game for the year. Rushing, okay, 150 yards a game to only 87 for their opponents, so they're plus 63 there. And if we look at total offense on the year, plus 148 yards on the year. Okay, they primarily get their first downs through the passing, as you see there. They get 3 more first downs through passing than rushing, 12.4 to 9.1 for the rush. And then turnovers, pretty solid there. Carson Beck leads the nation in completion percentage, 74.7%, 25 touchdown passes. He does also lead the nation in interceptions with 10. So I guess with 352 attempts to have only 10, that's pretty solid, right? As we take a look there. But you look at his rate, he leads there too, 165.8 rating. Okay? Very solid. Who's getting it done on the ground for these guys? Shamar Brown, 5 touchdowns. Mark Fletcher Jr. got 10. Right? Gerard Pringle's got 4. Okay, guys are getting it done on the ground there. Receiving, Malachi Toney, 7 receiving touchdowns, leads the nation. Okay, you got C.J. Daniels, another guy. These two guys right here, C.J. Daniels and Malachi Toney, I mean, they're getting it done. They're getting it done through the air and on the ground. And they do have 50 touchdowns from scrimmage there. Wow. If you look at it. Mark Fletcher leading the way and Malachi Toney right there. Those are the guys that are going to be, and C.J. Daniels. Those are the guys that Texas A&M are going to want to keep an eye on. Defense and fumbles. Let's take a look here. If we look at tackles for loss, let me see here, because I think I had this written down. Okay. They got 79 tackles for loss. Okay, 34 sacks for them. Interceptions, 12 interceptions. Wow. Passes deflected, 46. Okay, fumble recoveries, 8. Okay, and 12 forced fumbles. Pretty solid there. If we look at kick return and punting, kick return duties primarily going to Keelan Marion. Got 9 for 228 yards on the kick returns, 25 yards of return. And then punt returns, primarily Malachi Toney, 13 returns, 187 yards, 14.4 there. Kicking, Carter Davis, 41 for 41 extra point. This is the reason why you got to move that extra point back. He's also 14 for 16 from field goals, 87%, 83 points there. So primarily, if you look at that, they're solid, man. Very solid team that you're going to want to definitely keep an eye on. Defensively, Akeem Mesidor leads the team with 7 sacks. Okay. Out of the 35 they got there, Ahmad Moten's got 4.5 interceptions. Jacoby Thomas has 4. Bryce Fitzgerald has 4. Guys you're going to want to keep an eye on. Okay, those 2 guys there in the defensive backfield. Okay, they both can intercept and return when they do intercept. Okay, so let's take a look at and let's also take a look at their and what they do this year. Okay, because that's important too. I mean, you look at who they play. They beat Notre Dame. They should be in the tournament. That's the team. I guess that's the reason why Miami got in, the head-to-head there. If you really look at it, if Notre Dame beats Miami, there's no way they put Miami in there. Now that all makes sense, why they edged out Notre Dame. And part of the reason why I think that Notre Dame has to get out of the independent and join the Big Ten. I think at one point they were in the Big Ten. At some point, if I'm not mistaken, move to the Big Ten. It's a perfect fit. Get in over there, play in a tougher conference, and you probably would have been in there. But look at what they've done the last 4 games of the year. I mean, look what they did to Pitt. Now, Pitt is no walkover or sleep, and they beat them by 31 at Pitt. Virginia Tech, a shell of themselves from what they were last year. You were expecting them to have a better year with the quarterback. I can't remember his name. They did beat North Carolina State 41-7. We've seen what North Carolina State did in their bowl game against Memphis. They absolutely steamrolled a good Memphis team. So towards the end of the year, you only gave up 31 points in your last 3 games. I mean, really. I mean, you look at South Florida, a good, solid team, beat them 49-12. Florida, for what it's worth, played the toughest schedule in the nation. You beat them 26-7. You beat a Florida State team that was up and down, still beat them. You lost to Louisville. Louisville's not bad. SMU, good offense. Gets it done there. But you look what they did towards the end of the year. Look at this. 11 passing touchdowns from this point on towards the end of the year. And then rushing, they only had 2 in their last 2 weeks. But if you look at what they're doing, guys, I mean, they're fantastic. I mean, they're getting it done. They got their field goal kickers making chip shots, right? And their punters averaging about 40 yards, 45 yards a punt, not bad at the college level. First downs, we look at what they're doing. Look how they're getting their first down, guys. Miami. They're primarily getting it through the pass, right? 17-11 for the rush there in that game. Gets highlighted. 16-4. So they're an explosive team. They're moving the ball down the field. How could you not like Miami plus the points here? And now we're going to get into Texas A&M, but they only got 11 turnovers on the year, right? 10 of them have come by the interception. That is absolutely remarkable. They've only had 1 fumble loss all year, guys. All year. That's amazing. They had 4 turnovers in 1 game, and that was against Louisville, and they only lost by 3 that game. That should be a telling sign to you. So turnovers aren't going to kill them even when they have a big game. Look at all these other games. 2 turnovers. They lose by 6. So you look at 2 games that they lost. They had 6 turnovers in those 2 games. I mean, that should be, and they were within 1 possession of winning the game. Now look at the turnovers there. They're plus 9 turnovers there for the year. And we see what teams do against them. Look, passing the ball for touchdowns. They've only given up 1 passing touchdown in their last 3 games. And then rushing, they've only given up 3. 2 of them were against Virginia Tech that they beat 34-17. So those were probably garbage time touchdowns. And you look at how teams get their first downs against them. They're getting them primarily through passing, 98-72. is how teams are getting the first down on them, so they can have the ball move, the chains moved against them for there. But look at the turnovers, guys. 20 of them on the year. So a solid defensive team that played, like we said, the 34th toughest schedule in the nation. Now, we're going to take a look at Texas A&M, coached by Coach Elk. Mr. Elko, okay, having a great year, 11-1. 32nd toughest schedule in the nation, 8th best SRS. Having an absolutely fantastic year, 11-1. Let's see what they do well. They're plus 79 passing yards per game, so Miami's a little bit tougher there in that category. And then rushing the ball, they are plus 66 yards a game there. So they're controlling the tempo, controlling the gameplay there. If we look at who's doing it for them, Marcel Reed, 25 touchdowns to 10 interceptions there, and he has the same amount of interceptions that the Miami quarterback Beck has there. So 14 yards per catch there, leads the nation in the ADOT when he's stretching the field as far as getting the ball downfield. Those are numbers that lead me to think that this game could go over. I know, again, you're putting up these points. I know teams play good defensively, but that goes out the window here, man, especially off scripted plays. And let's see how they get their first downs. They're getting their first downs primarily through the pass as well. They're balanced, a little bit more balanced than Miami is. 11.4 to 9.3 a game there. And then Marcel Reed having a fantastic year. This kid is in his, what year is he in here? Okay, he's a third-year sophomore. We know Beck has a little bit more experience, but the kid's showing up this year, getting the job done for them. Let's see who's doing what on the ground. Marcel Reed, got to keep an eye on him. He has 6 rushing touchdowns. E.J. Smith has 4. Reuben Owens has 5. Le'Veon Moss has 6. They got 28 rushing touchdowns on the ground. Okay? Passing the ball, Kevin Concepcion, keep an eye on that guy. Special teamer, and also leads them in leads the nation in receiving touchdowns. Got 9. Ashton Bethel-Roman 5. Mario Craver 4. They got 26 receiving touchdowns. So they're balanced, guys. They're balanced, as far as what they do. 54 touchdowns on the year. Okay? So they're plus 4 there. They got 4 more touchdowns on the year than they got. Who's leading the team? We see Kevin Concepcion got the AA award. Okay? Which I guess is, I don't know what award that is. Award winner. Kevin Concepcion. Fernando Mendoza, Tate Sandell. I don't see where this kid is, Concepcion. But he's got an award here. He's got an award. All-American. He's got an All-American award. Yeah, where is he at? Alabama, Texas A&M. There he is. Kevin Concepcion, AP All-American this year. So that seems to be like their playmaker there that's getting the job done. He leads the team in touchdowns. He's got 10 of them. Okay? You got Reuben Owens. You got Marcel Reed. Nate Boricher. I'm starting to lean back towards Texas A&M here. I mean, if I'm looking at it. That 3.5 looks like a lot, though. But look at this. Cassius Howell, 11.5 sacks, leads the nation there. These guys are fiery, bro. These guys are absolutely fiery on defense. Let's see what they're doing here. 104 tackles for loss. Now, we've seen that Miami has 79 tackles for loss. These guys got 89, 99, plus 24. They got 24 more tackles for loss. They got 41 sacks, so they got 7 more sacks than Miami. Okay? Interceptions. They only got 3 interceptions. That's where Miami has the advantage. Miami's got 12 interceptions to their 3. Fumble recovery, 6. Miami has the edge there. They got 8 compared to Texas A&M 6. Forced fumbles, they have 9. Miami leads there with 12. And passes deflected, they got 41. Miami leads there. 5 more there. So sacks and tackles for loss, Texas A&M has the lead there against these guys. But as far as interceptions, passes deflected, and fumble recoveries, Miami has the edge there. So both teams have strengths there. If we look at this, Kevin Concepcion leads the nation in return yards. He's got 23 returns for 460 yards. That's 20 yards of return. I've personally watched the game where this guy's broken loose a couple times in one game. He's fantastic. And then look at their kick return. Terry Bussey, 18 returns for 421 yards. Guys, special teams is leading towards Texas A&M, the call. It was leaning towards Miami. And I will say this, and I'll say it again. Something about Carson Beck I just do not trust in big games like this, especially when he's in a hostile environment. I've watched this kid when he played at Georgia. He got injured at halftime, and then their opponent ended up coming back and Georgia ended up coming back winning the game when Stockton came in at halftime. So this kid Beck, I just do not trust him in big game opportunities. He's definitely a guy that'll throw an interception when you need him not to the most, okay? If we look at special teams, Randy Bond, perfect, 36 for 36, 11 for 18 field goals. We can assume there that Miami has the better field goal kicker. 61% is not going to get it done. 69 points to 83 points for Miami's kicker. So there's a slight edge there for Miami. If we look at game logs, let's see what they've done towards the end of the year here. They had a cupcake before the Texas game. They did lose. They're going to come in fired up for this one because that's their only loss on the year, guys. The last game of the year. And then they can pass the ball in the end zone too. They got 6 in their last 3 games. Okay. And also, rushing, look what they do here. They have 6 rushing touchdowns their last 3 games. I mean, this cap is bringing me back. But again, you went against Sanford. That's not really a good game there. So I got to remove that one from the cap. So let's go to the Missouri. Let's start here. They still have, let me see here, 2-5. They got 5 touchdowns in their last 3 games that are of significance. And then they have 3, 4, 6 rushing touchdowns in their last 3 games. We'll take out the Sanford game there. Now, if we look at turnovers, they do have 16 turnovers on the year. But defensively, look at them. They've only forced 9 turnovers on the year for their opponent, their defense. Miami has the edge there. Miami has the turnover edge, even though, yeah, this is a tough cap, man. It really, really is. But let's take a look at the splits here because it is going to be in College Station. If we look at what they do, home games, they're 7-0. 166 passing yards a game. 90, okay, that's their defensive splits. Okay, so offensively at home, 271 yards a game and 192 rushing. They're solid. They're solid. Okay, what are they giving up defensively at home? 166 yards a game. Okay, so even though we got a lot of guys that could score, this defense could push that total closer than what we thought. Anything else standing out here? Man, this is a tough cap for Wager Detective. We're coming up on 20 minutes. I mean, Miami has edges in certain categories. Texas A&M has the special teams advantage. to what they can do if it comes down to special teams, other than their field goal kicker. But as far as their return guys, they can open up a game and flip the game on its head with Kevin Concepcion. The guy's probably going to be playing on Sundays in the NFL in the future. And if we look at this team, man, it's really, really tough to gauge because Miami's tough too, man. Both teams have a similar SRS, similar strength of schedule. The defense for Miami has a couple edges over the defense for Texas A&M. You know, we do factor in the home field advantage there. I don't like the fact that they don't have a good field goal kicker. Miami has a slightly better field goal kicker if it becomes, you know, a game where it's going to matter in that department. I don't trust Carson Beck on the road in a big high-pressure game. Marcel Reed does have a lot of turnovers too. I mean, if I'm looking at this game, I would think, because both defenses are good, you could get a defensive touchdown that could flip the game on its head as far as it going over, flip field position. Both guys are loaded with offensive playmakers that could get the job done. Texas A&M's got guys that can run it back for a touchdown. If I'm going to lean in this game, Wager Detective is going to say that this game could sneak over. And let's just take a look at the... okay, it is 48.5. It is trending towards... It is shaded towards the under, which is probably going to attract under bettors there. That's how the books operate. But 48.5, I think we got a little wiggle room there. I'm predicting this to get into the 50s, 51, more closer to that key number, like a 27-24 game, which doesn't give you much room. But if I'm going to lean away, I'm going to have to say the over here. I know I've been calling a lot of overs, but all the overs I've been calling have been hitting. I think that 51 is a verifiable number. I mean, we're looking for about 12 points a quarter to keep you around the 48 mark. And then you get, a 24-24 game, and then it goes to overtime. You can factor that in as well. I would sprinkle that as well. Listen, at the end of the day, man, 3.5 is just a little too much, in my opinion. Even with the home field advantage included in there. But I do think Texas A&M wins this game. And so it's really a tough cap. But if I was going to look at a side that I feel a little bit more stronger on, Wager Detective is going to call the over here. Over 48.5 is the stronger lean. And then if I'm going to choose a side, it looks at, what do you rather lay, the 158 money line? Or would you rather take the minus 120? Or do you hope that Texas A&M, you take the cheaper line and Texas A&M finds a way to cover that 3.5. Ooh, it's tough, man. It really is. But I like Texas A&M to win the game, and I like the game to go over 48.5. This is Wager Detective here. Tough cap in this bowl game here between Miami and Texas A&M. It is December. It is a mild day out here in Atlantic City, and at the 24-minute mark, roughly, Wager Detective makes his call here. Over 48.5 at the minus 106. Texas A&M wins. Carson Beck probably throws an interception or two in this game, tilts the game, and look for Kevin Concepcion to play a big role in this game. Look for there to be scoring. This is Wager Detective. Over 48.5, the solid call here in this Miami, Florida, Texas A&M game. I'll see you at the cash out window, guys. I'll talk to you soon.